All right, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out channel. This is another episode of Fight Talk with the BMA, the Basic MMA Analyst. And as usual, I'm joined by my boy K West. What's happening, bro? Who's that? Who you representing? What is that? Football?
Yeah, Real Madrid, man. We got fucked up in Champions League. So
Who did you guys play? I don't know nothing about football.
Man City fucked us up 4-0, but it's all good. If they beat us, they might as well go ahead and win and not be the first time they've ever won in history. So they got to get it done if they're gonna beat us. Simple.
All right, that sounds cool, man. I mean, I don't know nothing about football. My boys talk about it, and I don't give a shit. It's one of the sports that is the most popular sport in the world. As a Brit, I live right next to the Tottenham Stadium, which is a big reputable team, and I went to school right next to them. Nothing. I just have no interest in the sport whatsoever.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
We
but
are involved in one of the in the best, biggest combat sport that there is to date. So you ain't missing nothing, my friend.
that's what I'm into. That's what I'm into. The MMA, man. That's the sport I'm into. But before we get into the fights, which was a fight card that we had, and there was some boxing as well. But Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill. We'll get into the fights in a bit. There was the boxing, which I've always admitted that I don't prioritize it, but it was a big fight. We'll talk about that in a second. But how you been though, man? It was this is how bad it is. You say that even Dana White said I didn't even know they were fighting until yesterday. I feel it was Javante Davis versus Lomachenko.
Was it not Haney? It was Haney.
Okay, maybe exactly that's how bad it is. I don't even know.
I
No,
think it
no,
was Haney.
Javante
Yeah.
Davis
Huh?
fought freaking the Mexican
Yeah, it was
Garcia.
Haney.
Sorry, Haney.
It was
Yeah,
Haney.
sorry,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Lomachenko.
I didn't know when it was. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Damn. I didn't know when it was. Yeah. I actually do want to know what happened with that fight. Do you know?
I know what happened, and there's a lot of controversy around it. So Haney won, but everyone said Lomachenko got robbed, like bad. Everyone was commenting saying that he got robbed bad. So I don't know. And people just kept saying this is boxing, 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 boxing. You know, I don't know. All this bullshit came out. Again, I didn't watch the fight. I just didn't have the time, and and
Was
as
meant
always, I
to.
prioritize UFC.
Yeah, of
I'm more of
course.
I'm more of I've said this before. I'm more of a UFC fan over anything, and I would always prioritize UFC, even though it's a smaller card. It was actually a fun freaking card to
I
fight. But
know.
how you been though? How's the week been? It's second week back in the UK. How are you
It
been
is.
settling down? How's things going?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. It's been kind of decompressing, getting things back to, well, there is no back to normal. Once you go and you do, see certain things, experience different experiences and so on, there's no going back to being normal, in the UK, in my opinion. So it's kind of like I'm back here with a stronger purpose than ever, kind of thing. So but yeah, I'm good. I'm busy, um, and I'm very clear minded.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. That sounds great, man. That sounds great. I am much better
How about you
compared
on
to
your
how we
side,
were
man?
last week.
Yeah,
I
you
was
all
off.
groggy and shit.
Yeah, Monday, no, Saturday, Sunday. Something got me Friday night. And I think it's got to do with me moving to this country. Because I remember when I first moved to Hong Kong, I got badly sick, right? And it was like 6 months of bronchitis and all that sort of stuff. I remember moving to Singapore. And when I first moved there, something kind of got me. And then same thing with Dubai. Like my wife's been sick twice. I remember two occasions something tried to get me, but I was able to get rid of it. And then this time it just finally got me. Yeah. And then
Mm.
yeah, Friday, Saturday, like when we spoke, sorry, Saturday, Sunday, I was,
You was
just
in a bad
mind was all
way.
foggy and everything and
Mm.
shutting down. Monday, my body was just in pain. And that's when I knew, like, the body pains come in. I just knew I was shut down. And then Tuesday got a little bit better, and Wednesday I was just back to normal. So yeah, I've been good. I rested basically. I didn't train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I got back into training and just thing. But yeah, I've been cool, man. I mean, actually, I had an incident yesterday which I can't believe happened. I spoke about it on the Brothers Geek Out channel. I almost got into a fight, bro. And I'm very disappointed. If you hear, I spoke about it deeply with Ash earlier on, but I'll talk to you about it as well on this. I can't believe I'm disappointed in myself because it got to that point. I've been telling you for ages, people here in Dubai, the way they
Uh,
drive are just
uh,
terrible. Right? And
uh.
what happened was not where I live, right? Just to exit, basically, it's a 2-lane narrow road. I'm talking about narrow, you're taking loads of turns and bends, it's very dangerous. On the side is the desert and whatnot, and it's oncoming and going traffic. It's very narrow. That's why the speed limit is only 40 kilometers per hour. But when there's no cars, I was doing 80, I was doubling it. But people try to go crazy, right? So there's this, as usual, in Dubai, big mans in big trucks, and I've got quotation marks here, just tried to bully people off the road. So what happened was, my guy saw him from a mile away, just speeding up. I'm doing 80, remember, I'm doing 80 kilometers, which is double the speed limit. So my guy's speeding up, coming behind me and whatnot, come straight out my back. That's what they do here, right? I avoid the motorway in Dubai just because people do that. They come right up your fucking ass and trying to bully you off the road. So anyway, this fool did this to me. And then, and I'll tell you why I'm disappointed in myself after all of this.
I think I know why.
Then he tries to overtake me at the roundabout. And these are little roundabouts. I'm telling you, this is a very narrow road. It's fucking dangerous. So I end up cutting him up. He starts beeping. I give him the finger. And then, again, my guy's right on my back. He's got like this big truck and everything. And I'm just like, fuck off. I don't give a fuck, right? So we get right to the end of the road. And then it turns into a 2-lane road. And then my guy actually pulls up next to me and pulls his window down. And I'm like, okay, let's fucking go. And you know, considering I've been telling you, like, driver's head pissed me off, but we don't really get into arguments. Nobody really pulls their window down and argue. It's just, you go on. Anyway, he pulls a window. He happened to be a Brit. Like he was a Brit. He had a British accent and whatnot. He was a big dude in his tight t-shirt, big truck and whatnot. He started talking some shit. Oh, if you're going slow, da, da, da. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm doing double the speed limit, right? Why are you trying to overtake me on a roundabout? It's fucking dangerous. I'm doing double the speed limit. So don't try and tell me about slow, right? So don't be dangerous. Da, da, da. He's yapping. And I don't know what came over me. I just looked at him and I was like, what are you going to do? Like, I literally offered him out. I was like, what are you going to do? And he started like giggling. He started, what do you call it? He made a smirk and started saying some shit. I think he said something about small guy, midget, something. And I was like, exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is. Right. And I just got vexed. I mean, look, and I'll tell you why I was disappointed in a bit. But my point was, like, I was telling him, that's what it is. Big man in a big car thinks he can bully people off the road and bully people, and then he finally got caught out. And what happens? You drive off like a pussy, and that's what he did. I offered him out to fight, which was wrong with me, and I'm gonna go to that in a bit of that. Go through that in a bit. But something came over me. I don't know. Like I just got so angry at the point, and I just looked at this guy, and I was just like, just fucking go. What are you gonna do? And like I said, when he like tried to make some smart, I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's what it is. You're a pussy. You ain't gonna fight, man. You ain't gonna do shit. So he drove off and sped off, right? So the whole day I was thinking about this, right? It ruined my day. Thank God my wife wasn't in the car at this moment anyway. And thank God we didn't fight. But the whole day I was thinking about that, and I was very disappointed in myself because I was like, gee, like, why? First of all, why did this have to happen? Maybe you should just let him overtake you and fucking let him go, right? And then secondly, why did you offer him out to a fight? Why did you offer to fight? Why did I do that? You know, why did I control my
why
ego?
did you do that? I want to know that.
I don't know. I just got really angry, and I was like, why couldn't you control your ego and just drive off and let him say whatever he wants to say? But just drive off, fuck him. But no. Something took over me where I'm like, oh, you're going to put your window down and say something, let's go. But it was, okay, if we just thrift at each other and swear at each other, okay, one thing. But the fact that I just looked at him and said, let's just fucking fight, and I don't give a fuck, what are you going to do? I was very disappointed in myself to like, I got to that. I said that. Now, you know, one part, I was saying, like, one part of my ego is boosting my ego. Like, well, you offered this big man to fight and pussy drove off. Like, he got scared. He didn't expect the guy in this shitty little Ford car, small little Indian kid, was going to offer him out to a fight. Now, my ego is telling me that. But then my sensible side is like, well, first of all, why the fuck did you offer him out to fight? That's stupid. That's very stupid of you. Should have checked your ego. Secondly, my sensible side saying, well, how do you not know he checked his ego? And he was like, I'm not going to fight this idiot. I'm going to just drive on. Right? So there's that part, right? So the whole day I was conflicted yesterday. I was just very annoyed at myself, and I was just very annoyed at the situation. And I was just like, you know, so nothing good would ever have come out of fighting. The best thing happened, which was nothing happened, thank God, right? Had emotions for the day. I'm gonna get over it. I'm talking about it now. I'll get over it. But so much bad things could have happened from a fight, right? We could have just fought, little scrabble, whatever. He pushed me on the floor, whatever. We get caught on camera in Dubai. You're not allowed to do it. It's illegal. We get kicked out of the country, right? Worst things could happen. He was a big guy. He was a big guy. He could have picked me up, slammed me on my head on the concrete. That's me finished, right? On the flip side, I do know some martial arts. Maybe I get so angry, I manage to get the neck, I choke him out, I don't let go. I don't let go. Say if that happened. So there's so many bad scenarios. It's all bad scenarios, man. It shouldn't have happened. And I was just mostly disappointed in myself that I offered him out to a fight. I shouldn't have done that. But then like I said, then my ego keeps telling myself, yeah, but don't worry, man, you offered him out and that pussy drove off. And I'm trying to tell that ego off, like, fuck you. Like, it was because of you I offered him to a fight. You know, I couldn't control you. And worse things could have happened. Thank God it didn't, but worse things could have happened. But I was disappointed, man. I think, I don't know. I pull it down to, like, one, obviously I couldn't check my own ego, so that was my mistake. But I think just the frustration of drivers who try to bully people off the road, who try to bully me off the road. They try and flash you to say, get out of my way, get out of my way. And finally, someone wanted to pull his window down. I was like, this is my
Last
opportunity
straw.
to tell this motherfucker, let's go.
Yeah.
Because I've always
Last
wanted to
straw.
tell these guys, like, fuck you, let's go. Who do you think you are trying to bully me? So this was my opportunity. But the point is, man, it was wrong. I should have checked my ego. And thank God we didn't fight. I just can't believe how calmly I just looked at him and said, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I was like, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is when you chose not to do nothing. You thought you could bully people, you got called out, and now you ain't doing shit. So yeah, man, that was my day yesterday. I didn't tell you over the phone because I know we were talking, but I didn't say that because I would save it for the podcast, man. But
Fuck,
that
man.
was yesterday. Yeah, man.
First of all, fucking hats off for you for showing teeth, right? But secondly, you know, you've already reflected and you already know what you've done wrong, and that's it, and then just move on with it. Simple. You know? But yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah,
Because I'm
next
sure
time.
you've already talked about it in the podcast prior, and I'm sure continues talking about it, putting it in the atmosphere, just continually adds more of that in your mind. So I'm just gonna keep it real short. You know, thank God nothing happened. Props for showing teeth. You know, and that's it. And then, you know, hats off for also reflecting on what you should and shouldn't do. That's it.
Yeah, no, I know. And next time I just need to be better at checking my ego. Like, you know, again, you know, I think one thing as well is because I was by myself and my wife wasn't with me, the ego pumped up even more because I don't have her safety to worry about. You know what I mean? Like, one thing I know, like with my wife and, you know, hopefully inshallah in the future with my kids, I just gotta be even more smart and just gotta let things go, just grit my teeth, let things go, let people say what they want, do what they want, but not put my family in any kind of danger. So I think because I was by myself, I was like, oh, fuck it, it's just me. Let's go. But if my wife was there, I feel like I would have just been like, I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest with you, but I'm glad she wasn't there. And yeah, next time I'm just gonna have to just pull over and let these people just go. Just go. Like just pull over, let them overtake and be on my way. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, that was that.
That was yesterday. What kind of music were you listening to,
I was
if
listening to a
any?
podcast. No, I was listening to a podcast, Joe Rogan. I was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I wasn't even hyped. You don't
Oh,
understand.
okay.
I really can't express to you, like, the drivers, man. Like, I really can't express to you. Someone to do something like that, like I say, you're doubling the speed limit and they're trying to go faster, which is cool. If you want to speed and go kill yourself, I don't care. Don't overtake me when I'm trying to do, like, going around it, but that's dangerous. Like, if you want to overtake me on the road. You might put someone else in danger, put yourself in danger. I don't give a shit. But it's a two-way narrow road. Don't put my life in danger. Put yourself in danger. I don't give a shit. So I think that's what it is as well. Like, you know, you're trying to bully me off the road, but it wasn't me. I was listening to Rogan. Oh my
Okay.
God, I just couldn't believe that happened, to be honest. The whole day fucked up my day in the sense that I kept on running it back and my ego was giving me a big head. And then my sensible side, I don't know who that is, was telling me, you were wrong. You were wrong. What if this happened? What if that happened? And I was just like, he lives in my community. The thing is, he lives in my community. I mean, I might never know. I might bump into him another time, but it's not the point. It's not the point. But I did want him to recognize exactly what it is. Big man in a big car trying to bully people, and you finally got called out and you couldn't do shit. You couldn't do shit. That's what I wanted to put him. Not that you couldn't do shit. Don't bully people. Don't try to use your big car and your big tight t-shirt self to try and bully people. That's not right. Don't judge me because of the car that I'm driving. You see a small little Indian kid. Like, don't do that. He should be better as well. I should be better, but he should be better as well. You're the big guy, right? Visually, physically, presently big guy, right? With your big car. Don't do that. You know what I'm trying to say? But he's a piece of shit. You know what? I was wrong, but he was a piece of shit also. So
I mean, I think what would be the best thing to do if you do see him again, like just kind of squash it. That'd be good to do.
Yeah. I think if we ever was to see each other again,
yeah,
nothing will kick off. I would just, nothing will happen. I'll tell him, like, let's have a conversation. Like, this is what I think you did wrong. You can tell me what I did wrong.
And then,
shake hands and leave it. I don't want to fight. I'm the guy who, I train martial arts. I'm aware of how dangerous fighting is, right? I'm very aware of that. I'm the guy who walks away from fighting because I don't like conflict. Fighting is dangerous. It's stupid. I understand how dangerous it can be. I don't want to do that. It's just something took over me. Something took over me, man. Like, I just even myself, I was a little bit shocked. But it's not like I was thinking. I was on autopilot. I just looked at this guy and I was like, no, I've had enough of these people, man. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I just offered him out.
Boiling point, man. But have you been to the mosque?
Yeah. I prayed. I prayed.
Cool.
I prayed. I've done my prayers. I gotta pray after this anyway. But yeah, I've been doing my prayers. I've been keeping up with it.
Wash that away,
Yeah. No, definitely, man. Definitely.
But it shows that you're human and you have a breaking point like anybody else, and that was it. So like I said.
And I also think it comes from trauma as well. Like, when I was young, again, I'm the small Indian kid. I've always been a small. I mean, I'm Bengali, but that's what I was always called when I was young. I'm still a small little Indian kid, as you could put it. And that's what that's why people used to move to me.
Man.
No, I'm not. No, but what I'm saying, that's what when I say that, I mean, that's what people used to try and call me when they used to move to me and stuff when I was, growing up in Tottenham and the street. They wanted to rob me just because I was just small, or try and bully me because I was small. And even back then, I had no idea how to fight, right? But I'll try and stick up for myself and I'll just get pushed around because I didn't know what to do. Now it's different because I know how to fight. And I realized a lot of these guys weren't really big. They were bigger than me, but they weren't really big. They were just bigger and stronger than me. But now I'll be like, you're actually not very fit, these people. Anyway, long story short, I think it's a lot of trauma, right? It's the big guy trying to bully me again. And that's why when I see these things now, even big guy in a big car or whatever, I'm like, oh, it's that again. Like, no, things are different now. I'm a grown-ass man. I should stick up. I do stick up for myself. I know a bit more. I know a bit of martial arts now. So I'm just a bit more confident. Like, no, you can't bully me. Like, that's not happening. You're not moving to me like I used to get moved to when I'm in the streets. So I think there's a bit of that where my ego is like, nah, G, things are different now. So you tell this big motherfucker, like, let's go, right? Which is still wrong, but I think, there's that element to it, you know what I mean?
To the trigger. Okay, so a little bit PTSD perhaps influenced the snap.
Yeah, I mean, PTSD, you say that word and it's actually true. I know we use it for military vets and whatnot. Of course, they go through a certain trauma, but actually, like, everyone goes through a certain amount of trauma and it gets you, I still got PTSD from Hong Kong and all the racism. My missus pointed it out to me because I kept on bringing up the stories and I kept on saying this and I kept on saying that. And every time I'll see a police, especially even in Singapore, if I saw a Chinese police, I'm like, watch this. And she was like, we're in Singapore, like, we're not in Hong Kong. And I'm like, oh yeah, but I would stereotype the Chinese police in Singapore thinking they're gonna get me. And then my wife
Right.
was like, you got a form of PTSD and trauma
Mm,
from what you went through in Hong Kong. Because now every police officer we come across in Singapore, and especially if they're Chinese, because Singapore is a lot
boy.
more mixed race, you
Yeah.
get immediately, you point them out, immediately you get nervous, and
Mm,
immediately you're
mm,
warning me, like, watch, I'm gonna get stopped. And I'm like, this is not, she's like, this is not Hong Kong, and you got trauma. You faced some
yeah.
trauma from it. And it's true, like we all have it. Like whatever we've
Yeah.
gone through in the past, man, it
Yeah.
does bug us, and you just don't know. Like I'm not aware of these things until my missus mentioned it to me. Like you just think, I don't
Mm,
know, I don't even know what you think, but it's trauma, man.
agreed. I mean, look at my situation with the scooter. Because when I went to Thailand in 2016, I burnt myself minor one. And then when I came here, it came again, just recently. I was so averse to being on a scooter. And then it happened again. And then I was averse to being on one and I had to kind of break out of it because there was no way around it. But
Mm,
yeah, of course, like, it's just like, it's how we learn, isn't it? You put your hand on the oven, you burn it. Okay, I'm not going to do that again, kind of thing. And sometimes it's really hard to break out of that constant cycle of fear that if you go near this then this is going to happen. I'm not going to do that, or I'm
mm,
always going to have this averse feeling towards this situation or that. And it's you're aware of it, which is great, and your wife is doing an amazing job as a partner and a teammate, to kind of draw it to your attention. So maybe you should have a look into it, because that could turn into something you really don't want to happen.
she keeps telling me that I should see someone for it. Seriously.
Good idea. Whether you do with a self-taught, um, not necessarily cognitive behavior therapy, but something to that effect. You can find things online like podcasts, and do it that way, or you see somebody. Might not be a bad idea, because you don't want that to get any further.
No, I mean she's mentioned it a lot that I should see someone, a therapist and all that stuff. And she's not wrong. She's not wrong. I
Mm,
should do because there is trauma there. There is trauma. Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I don't ever want to go back to Hong Kong. I don't want nothing to do with Hong Kong.
oh
But
wow.
really, why should I blame it on Hong Kong and the people of Hong Kong? You know what I mean? But anyway, I mean, that's just the Hong Kong situation. Dubai is not easy, man.
Mm,
Like, I'm telling people straight, it's not an easy place. It's very stressful. Yes, there's so much beautiful and positive things, but there's so many, like I said, it's stressful with people, with drivers. It's stressful. It's driving. I fucking hate driving, man. But you have no choice but to drive. Like, I wish public transport was better, I'll just use that. Or if I get rich, man, I'm just getting a driver. I'm like, you drive and deal with these people. I'm just gonna sit in the back and fucking enjoy the journey, but you drive. But
what?
driving's a headache here, man.
Mm,
Uh,
why did you decide to go to Dubai in the first? I can't remember that. Is it because you wanted to be close to your family, or?
yeah, I mean, look, I was 4 years in Singapore. It was like very far from the family. And my friend who moved to Singapore, who moved from Dubai to Singapore, actually came back to Dubai. He kind of sold it, but there was positives, man. Get closer to the family. There
Oh,
was tax-free, food was better, and
oh,
all this sort of good
oh,
stuff. Like Singapore was
yeah.
great. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I met my wife there, but bro. It was 14 hours away from home. It was,
Mm,
it was just life. There was no there was no, how do we put it, progression. It was just life. And I was like, can I just live the rest of my life here? Really, no. Yes, it's better than the UK. Singapore made me realize how much better than the UK is. However, I'm too far away from the family. That was one of the main things, and Dubai just was
mm,
right in the middle between mine and her family. The job, I got promoted
mm,
and I was managing both Europe and Asia, so that played a part.
good.
Loads of
Yeah,
things moved me here, and they're all positive, and I'm
yeah,
benefiting positively here, but honestly,
good.
training and getting into routine and enjoying food, get closer to
Mm,
religion, family. I've seen
mm,
so many friends and family who just passed by
mm,
Dubai. Like in the last 6 months,
mm,
so many. I've got another
mm.
friend coming next week.
Okay.
Remember Ahmed, that big Lebanese dude? You probably saw him at my house.
Maybe if I see him.
Very close friend. Well, what I'm saying is, like, in the last six
Mm,
months being in Dubai, I've been
mm,
home and loads of friends have come over, where
mm,
more than I ever have in Hong Kong and Singapore. Do you know what I
mm,
mean? So I'm closer to
mm,
people.
mm.
So there's a lot of positives, but it's not. People just think Dubai is this beautiful, amazing place, and that it is, but it's very stressful. It's very stressful, like I've already expressed, with people, with people's
Right.
manners. with
Right.
services, all that sort of stuff. People trying to rob you. Like, it's a place to make money. And when I say it's a place to make money, it's also a place that people are trying to make money off you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're trying to make money and people are trying to make money off you. Everyone's trying to make money right here, and you can make money, but you're also going to be contributing towards someone else who's trying to make money. But everyone's hustling, trying to make the money, trying to rob you, trying to get you to sign here, trying to whatever. There's that element to it, right? That's why there's no services in that sense, because they're just trying to rob you. And if you don't, whatever, they just move on to the next. And like I said, the way people drive and treat people is also full of shit too. However, on the flip side, bro, F&B services, hotel stuff, all those are amazing. The best people I've met are people at restaurants and F&B, so beautiful people. Actually, yesterday I went to a restaurant, I watched Fast and Furious and blah, blah, blah. It's things on my mind. I just started talking about it to my missus and like, you know what, it's been on my mind the whole day. Like the first time I brought it up again after the first time I told her, right, which was after the movie, and I was like, oh, fuck, I feel basic, man, this shit happened, blah, blah, blah. And then the waiter came over, big smile on his face, very happy, very jolly. And I was like, you're fucking good, you're good. Like, that's what I needed. I needed your energy, you know what I mean? Like, he came with such good energy. So there are beautiful people here. Don't get me wrong, man. Like, it's amazing. It's a way more diverse place. It's way more diverse than Asia and Singapore and whatnot. It's right in the middle of the world. It's really got a lot of positives. However, like I said, there's stresses to it. The driving is one of them, and the way people drive. And road rage is a horrible thing. The good thing is, it's illegal to fight here, and they take it serious. So you get kicked out of the country, not like the UK where they'll just let you fight and shit. But it's yeah, exactly. But yeah, Dubai. I don't think this will be a long term. I don't think Dubai will be long term. Definitely, I know. Nah, I don't think it'll be long term. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna do my part a couple years. I'm gonna have a couple years. Years will go quick. Collect my money. Head back to the UK. I've got financial goals. Just reach them and then come back to the UK, man. Like, be with my family. At least, even though UK is full of shit and it's a shithole and it's stress, but you know what? I got family there. Quoting Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious, family makes it all better. So I can live with the stress and the bullshit of the UK, but as long as I got family around. So yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're saying then, yeah. So that's the next 5 years. That's what it looks like.
For sure. You never know what can change in 5 years, but for sure. Yeah.
Wow. And you out here telling me, yeah, man, if you want to move country, come to Dubai.
Yeah, selfish. I'm being selfish because I want my peoples here. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more people I have here, the better for me. You know what I mean? No, but listen, people, no matter what I say, the positives are still the positives. You know what I'm trying to say? And they're still good. The positives are still the positives and they're still good. So, and they're always going to outweigh the negatives, right? Regardless. Hong Kong, because of the racism, I think that was the biggest negative, and that pushed me out and it really upset me. But it's because of racism. Racism is a horrible, inhumane. It's a dirty thing. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's a scum of the earth thing, right? Regardless of how bad the racism is, it's scum of the earth, and that's why I had to leave Hong Kong, right? But Dubai, like, I haven't faced any racism and all that shit. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm sure it exists everywhere, but again, it's illegal here to do it. And even with Singapore at the end, I realized I faced a bit of racism with the landlord and realized how racist that region is. I'm not saying this region is not, but what I'm saying is I felt it there. But when I say the positives outweigh the negatives, it does in Hong Kong, but the racism is a big negative to be like, I don't want to live a life like this, so I'm out. You know what I mean?
Okay, well that's good. You met your wife, so
yeah, people don't get it. People who don't go through it don't get it, right? And I might, hopefully I don't speak out of terms here, right? But all the racism stuff that we see and happening in the US and whatnot. And I should tell people, like, my friends who don't go through it, which are like the Chinese people in Hong Kong, white people and whatnot. And I'm like, guys, the reason what I'm trying to say to you, the reason why you don't get it, right? When we hear this stuff in the US, there's a reason why a black man gets not just like nervous and whatnot, but also gets angry when a police pulls him over, because it's not his first time. It is most probably it's 50 times or whatever. And this is what I'm trying to say. It's same thing with me. At first, like it was like, what the hell? And then eventually you get angry. And if I keep poking you, keep
Yeah.
poking you. You're gonna ignore it
And
for the
poke back.
longest time, and then one
Yeah.
moment after months or years, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck, man? Stop fucking poking me!" Like that's what
Mm,
it is. It's continuous. So I'm just like, listen,
mm,
you will never understand. And I'm not trying to compare myself to, like the black man in the US, or the black man, or anyone goes through, like, the people of Palestine, whatever kind of racism. I'm not trying to compare myself to that, because that's extreme. Individuals are dying because of racism, and brutally getting killed. So I'm not trying to compare myself to that. What I'm just saying is, like, I knew a life in Hong Kong would lead nowhere good, because I'm always for the rest of my life going to be stopped and searched by the police, and it was just getting bad. It was getting bad, and it was getting physical. And I was like, I'm lucky and I'm privileged to have the opportunity to move out of this country. A lot of people don't, right? It's the same thing with people, like, like that, like a black man in the US. Maybe he doesn't have the opportunity to move out of that area, or wherever, where he might be living, and he has to go through it until one day he snaps, and then maybe the police officer shoots him. I'm just giving an example. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot to it. I'm just saying, if you haven't experienced it, you don't go through, you just don't know the emotions. You know what I'm trying to say? You can look at it and say, oh, that's so
mm,
bad. He got treated bad, but why did he overreact? You just don't know, because you haven't gone through it. The
mm,
feeling is very different. That's why eventually with the
mm,
police in Hong Kong, I overreacted every time, because I was pissed off. I'm like, again?
mm,
So it's trauma, man.
mm.
Trauma.
It sounds like it, man. You know what? Let's start addressing my kind as African American or brothers.
Mm.
Sounds healthier
Yeah.
because I
Sorry. If I said the wrong word.
no. It's just a new kind of paint I'm beginning to put on things in which you know we are there's not many races, barely any that are kind of pointed out by their color,
Mm,
right?
mm, mm,
If you look across, I was speaking to somebody when I was in Thailand, my friend, and she was often using the term black man, and it should say European person, and I'm like, okay, so they're white, they're European, but if it's black, it's black. He may be French, he may be American, he may be from Germany, right? But you just called him black man, right?
mm,
Why are you
mm,
by the color of his skin? He's not even black. This is motherfucking black, right? He's a brown motherfucker, you know. But because the education that people are given is just that it's this color and it's that, but it's not, you know. So I'm just saying that, like, even my mom said to me, I think I said to her something about I was describing something that happened, and I described someone as bald or stupid looking or tall, or and I said oh yeah, it was a black guy. She said to me, why did you have to say that about the person? And I was like, I don't know. And I thought to myself, she's right. And then when I went away and then I heard, certain people just use it, I thought to myself, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because
mm,
that person's from somewhere, you know?
yeah.
So yeah, let's use brothers, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what? I mean, it's good that you expressed that to me, because you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't, like, yeah, people do refer to,
It is.
the
Yeah,
brothers
yeah.
as
It's
black man. Doesn't matter where they're from. Like, they could have been
yeah,
from anywhere, from any other
that's it.
country,
Yeah, and
Brazil, or
yeah,
yeah. I mean, and it's just,
it's
oh, it's,
education,
yeah, you're
or,
right. You're right.
it's the way that it's portrayed that it's just we are just a color. No, we're not. And even the color that you've given us is not even the correct one, fool. you
Mm,
know.
mm, mm.
But that's just the way it is, and it's going to be that way. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need to use a different terminology for my kind.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, well, thanks for telling me, and that's something that I gotta acknowledge as well. I'm trying to say, like, now you're telling me, I gotta acknowledge that, and like the unconscious bias and all the bullshit that's been programmed in my head, I have to rewire. I remember we had a conversation when we were in Malaysia,
Oh
and I'm
yeah.
not gonna obviously say the word but the N word.
Oh,
And I remember talking to you. I can't remember how it started or where it came across, but I was telling you now that I don't say that word. But I used to say to you, when I was in school and I used to listen to hip hop, and all my friends were African American,
brothers.
British brothers.
brothers,
We used to call
yeah.
each other that. They used to call me that. And
Oh
they were cool with me
yeah.
calling that because of the culture of the music and the environment and whatnot.
Right,
And then as I got older
right.
and I learned about how horrific that word is, the murder, the violence that has behind that word, I stopped using it. And I was like,
Mm,
one, I should never have used it in the first place. Young,
mm,
dumb kid, and my friends allowed it. So I thought I was something. And then I also, and I can never tell any brother that they can't use it, but I also
mm.
thought that they shouldn't use it either. I'm like, this is a bad, very bad,
Yeah,
bad. My
yeah,
dad used to, because my dad used to hear me say it to friends on the phone and whatnot, and he used to tell me that's a bad word. Like, why
uh,
do you say that to your friends, and
yeah,
why don't they get offended? And he used to tell me, like, he used to tell me, and again, I'm a dumb kid, and I said, hip hop, it's my life now,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
dad used to even tell me
Immortal
then,
technique. Ah!
like, exactly, like the violence, murder, all this stuff that used
Yeah,
to happen from that word. And then but what it was, I got older and I got mature, and I again I learned more about the
yeah.
violence and the murder
The
behind this word,
knowledge,
the lynching, all that
yeah,
sort of stuff.
the
And I was like,
history.
I that's it. I never say that word ever again. I've never referred to my
Mm.
friends, my friends to it who still call me it to this day. But I'm like, I'm not saying that word, and I would never say that word again. And I don't think anyone should say the word, but I can't tell anyone not. But I just learned how disgusting that word was, and I was like, I should never have said it in the first place. And yeah, I listen to hip hop and I hear it all the time, and that's up to them, and take whatever. But to
The funny
me,
thing is, yeah,
yeah, and I'm just saying, like, I moved on, and it's
mm,
education. And again, you just
yeah,
educated me from your perspective about even just calling a brother a black man. Like, let's move away from that. Then that's
yeah.
something I got to do too.
That's healthy, man. I mean, like, I think we all forget that at some point, many of us were slaves. It wasn't just us. There were so many different cultures that had been slaves just because of money, because one side of the country had more power, and they knew that they could sell the other side because it made money, or spice or tobacco or some other commodity that's bullshit. uh, and I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, well, if the word if that word is kind of a slavery word, I feel like anybody who was a slave is one of them. Because it's like, for me, that word means that you were a slave, and you were put in a place to to pick cotton, or to do whatever. Yeah, you didn't have a name. You were just classed as this. And I'm like, well, in that case, anybody who was slaves, you're all a bunch of
Yeah, I
But
mean, it's a
anyway, moving
horrible
away
word.
from that. Yeah,
Even
of
if you took
course.
the violence away, just being a slave is a horrible thing. But then you add the
Right.
violence behind that word that came from
Yeah.
that word and all that stuff as well. It's disgusting. It's
It's
disgusting.
me-
But
it's messy. It's messy.
yeah,
But what the
yeah,
crazy thing about all of the history of that is that um slavery wasn't based on the fact that they were, African or darker skinned people. It was just money. And then
yes,
that became something else after that. And it was like, yeah, like that was quite surprising when I first heard about that. Because I was just like, well, slavery happened because of this and that, and because we were different. No, it's because, like, we actually sold ourselves. And then it became a thing about, putting us in categories because of X and Y. But it's when you actually really know what happened, and how it happened. I wasn't there, but you realize, you check certain things because the facts are wrong. It's actually like this. So
yeah.
yeah, man.
It's unfortunate that anything in the world always has to do with power and money. You know what I mean? And like being, on top, be it
Yeah,
barbaric, being barbarians, conquering different countries or what. It's got to do with
yeah,
power and money. Like even to this day, from in another country, it's like owning them. You know, I'm trying to say slavery is business. Everything's business. Pharmaceutical, whatever you think about, it's all got to do with business, power, money, and all that sort of stuff. It's got nothing
mm.
to do really with. I mean, when I say it does with the human being and racism and all that stuff, but it's because it's programmed into the individual to be like,
Yes,
"Yeah, we got to do this," but someone's
yeah,
benefit, always benefiting. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
crazy.
It's nuts, man. Even the term, money is the root of all evil. And you've heard this, and I've heard it when I was like, maybe, I remember I was like 7. no, maybe like 10. And I heard this term, and I've heard it throughout, like up until just recently, recently, of my knowledge and understanding of the world, and how my place in it and everything. And that word is now just meant, oh, the source of all evil. Why? To, oh my God, it means all of this, and it means that, and it also means this, and now when I understand that term from then, someone was trying to tell me something, and now I've got to this stage, and I'm like, oh my God, that term means so much more than just oh well, people are greedy. No, 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 no. It's way more than
Way
that.
more than greed, man. It turns people very bad, man. It can
Way
turn
more than
people
that.
very, very bad, man.
Didn't
Shit.
understand it at that time, but Sunny Jim, I know more about it than I ever wanted to at
Yeah.
this point in life.
Crazy, crazy. Well, look, man, I think we had a good therapy session there. The main, the main thing about this podcast is for us to talk about some fights. So why don't we swiftly move on to fights? And let's talk about this card. There's loads of stuff that happened this week in Ngannou and whatnot. We'll get into
Oh
all of that.
shit!
But let's
Oh
quickly get
shit!
through this card because this was another fight card, UFC fight card. I'm glad they give this to us. It was fun.
Good
I
one.
watched mostly the main card. I watched a couple of the prelims. They were kind of on the background, but the main fight, bro,
Yo,
Mackenzie Dern
I
versus Angela Hill. Mackenzie, have you seen it?
yeah. Nah, man. I'm. It's on right now, and I'm still charging through it. But nah,
Well,
man, I ain't seen it.
well, Mackenzie Dern this whole week was saying that she had a tough training camp, divorce,
Yeah.
this and that sort of. But she
She divorced.
came
I
out,
mean,
yeah,
Afghanistan. Mm.
yeah. she came out like a beast. I'm talking about striking and grappling. She smashed Angela Hill. Now, Angela Hill, heart beyond heart. Don't get me wrong, man. Heart, but Mackenzie Dern, bro, you thought it was gonna be like a striker versus grappler match. No, she came out MMA, striking, getting the better of
Mm.
Angela Hill in the striking, even
Mm.
knocking her down once or twice with the striking. When it gets
Mm.
to the ground, like judo throws and all this stuff, getting to the ground, even on the flat ground, what's so exciting about Mackenzie Dern? It's as exciting as if two people are in the pocket, punching each other or kicking each other.
Mhm,
That's how
mhm,
exciting it is on the ground. All the scrambling, she's trying to get arm
mm,
bars and choking out
mm,
and triangles and all. Super exciting.
mm.
But her pace and her cardio was just on another level, and she put
Oh,
it on
damn. What the
Angela.
Marab? Gave her the
Bro,
Marab.
it was a beat. It
Oh,
was a beatdown. And Angela Hill, credit to her. Any moment she could have just turned over and said, "Fuck this! I've lost the fight," and
mm,
just get it stopped or give her the arm. No, 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 no.
mm,
She went the whole 5 round. Credit to her. She got
mm,
fucking heart beyond heart. Absolutely amazing. She definitely wouldn't just go out, even though she was losing, even though she could have just given.
mm,
No, man. She fought the armbar very
mm,
tight twice. But
mm.
Mackenzie Dern, man, she made a fucking statement.
Statement.
Big time. When you see it, you will see.
Mm.
She played.
It's about time, though. No, it's
Yes,
about
yeah,
time.
I think
It's about
so.
time. 'Cause she's kind of been like, just getting by in a sense,
She would
like
kind
not
of
really
miss
sinking her
weight and
teeth
here
in.
and there. Yeah.
Not sinking her teeth in. Sounds like she sunk her teeth in. That's good.
Watch the fight. You definitely enjoy it. She called out in a
Okay.
nice way. She called out. She said it would be a nice fight to fight an ex-champion. So she called out Rose, Namajunas.
Ooh, where do you reckon that would go? What's your
That's a
take?
good fight. I
What do
mean,
you think? You think she's ready for that?
yeah, I mean, after what she did here, fuck yeah, man. She's ready for that, man. She just put it on her. I mean, this could have been a one and done performance. You never know, people have that and whatnot, but it was a great fucking performance. And I feel like something changed in her mentally where she was just on it, man. So, maybe, man, maybe she could, she definitely made a statement here to fight someone in
Mm,
the top 10 at least. She just wants to fight an ex-champion to put herself and test herself in that level. It could be, man. So really great fight. Such an entertaining, fast-paced fight. Standing and on the ground. Very good.
okay. All right. That's coming up soon. I always thought there was more to get from Mackenzie. So hopefully this, like you said, hopefully it's not just a one and done, and this is the start of her resurgence. Because I mean, she her background in jiu-jitsu is incredible. So you know that there's nobody in that division that has that pedigree in
Even
that
in
realm.
the whole UFC, like she's got a higher, like the
Oh,
repertoire of jiu-jitsu. It's like one of the highest in the UFC. She even got her third degree black belt. Her dad gave her another stripe after that performance.
Ooh,
Just amazing.
okay,
Really
okay.
amazing. So exciting that fight. She fucking put up good. She fucking smashed, bro. She smashed it, bro. Put it that way. Smash. She done a smash, bro.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do moving forward, man. Because I always thought that there was, she's good, but she's gonna be great, and I'm waiting for it. And it sounds like hopefully it's the beginning of that. So let's see, man.
Definitely, man.
Forward to that fight.
Moving on. Middleweight,
On the
Edmund.
Buckley fight, by the way, how
Oh, you
far
know.
is it?
Oh, the Buckley fight. We could. I mean, that was on the main card. That was 1, 2, 3. You still got like 3 fights to get there, man.
3 fights to go through. All right, cool. Carry
Yeah.
on, man.
Well, I might have end up spoiling the Buckley fight, but we'll start. I'm spoiling these for you, but I think it should be fine anyway.
Wait, okay, hold on. Wait. Did you see oh my God, the no, you didn't watch the early fights, did you?
I
No.
did. They were on in the background. I didn't pay too much attention to it, but they were on in the background.
Did you see Michael Johnson?
I did. Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Oh wow, yeah.
Diego, Diego,
Yeah.
Diego Ferreira, man. That 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 right hand put him out cold.
Vicious.
Yeah, he was out
And his
stiff as a
feet,
board.
his feet were like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Johnson's been in there with the best of the best. He's been around for ages, bro, man. It's just
That
that was a tough one.
never seen him get clocked like that, man.
No, neither have I.
Never seen him clocked like that. That was a bad. That was a bad one. But
No.
he showed compassion afterwards and tried to help him. So that was respectful. But
Yeah.
I've never seen him get knocked out like that. That's scary.
Neither have I, man. I mean, again, he goes down as like a legend, you could say. He's been in the game for ages. He's been in the UFC for ages. He's fought the who's who. He's got wins over Dustin Poirier and not Justin Gaethje. That first fight with Gaethje, like Gaethje was a madman and he fought him reckless like him. But he's got a win over Dustin Poirier, not Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira, maybe. He's got some wins, bro. He's got some wins over some of the top dudes.
Some wins. Yeah. He does. But I guess he just hasn't had enough to get to the top echelons and
He got to the top, like when he fought Khabib, that was the thing. When he gets up to, it's one of those things, man. Like it's unfortunate to see him go down like that. But Diego Ferreira, you gotta give him stripes for making it happen. He was very he was humble. It was very like humble at the end. And then exciting to see more of him as well, actually, man. I mean, I don't know much about him, but it was exciting to someone to keep an eye on, basically.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he looks he looks really old. How old is that guy?
I don't know. Let's see.
He looks pretty old. I saw Chase Hooper. You see that fight? No.
I did. Yeah, I did. I was on the background and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's
Okay. So
another young kid, another young prospect. He's only 23. He's had a few fights in the UFC already.
That's it. I've seen from there moving onwards. Like I've seen Chase Hooper, Ilya Latifi, those fights, and Caroline Kowakevich as well.
She won, yeah. She's still doing the damn thing. She's fought.
I was happy to see her. I've always liked her, man. I've always thought she was like, she almost took out what's her name way back when. Remember?
Yeah. What's her name? Junjek.
What's her name? Yeah, that was a close fight. So I've always thought like, damn, she's tough.
Yeah, definitely. She fought for the title, right, against Joanna.
I think that was in wasn't that UFC two, the one where Conor took out Eddie Alvarez.
It might have been. I can't remember the numbers, but it might have been.
I think it was that one, and that was the same one when it was Woodley against Thompson in New York. That was the first Madison Square Garden, I think.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, she's she's definitely had a great career and she's got a great resume of fights. But yeah, no, those fights, like I said, they were in the background for me, so I didn't really pay too much attention.
Yes. Yeah, I'm right.
Okay, awesome. Good memory, man. Good memory.
Sunday, the 13th of November, 2016, she fought for the belt.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, boom. In Madison Square Garden.
All right. Well, Joaquin Buckley, you said you're watching that fight now. He's fighting Andre Ferrero. Yeah. I'm going to spoil it for you.
Go on. It doesn't matter. Go on.
Buckley, man. Head kick KO. It's a good one. It's a good one. And when I say it's a good one, I mean, Buckley was just hyped. And then the way he just kind of finished it, head kick KO, then just kind of stood on top of him, threw a little cheeky little hammer fist, but he didn't really need to. That just getting like on top of him was just more like a, I don't know, for the gram or something. But yeah, he put it on him. Buckley was on it this weekend. Look, Buckley got that big hype because he got done one of the best fucking kicks ever, almost like a show, like it was almost like a video game,
Mortal Kombat.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he's a fighter. He's on it. He won this one. I think they fought at welterweight, which is he normally a
Yeah, they
welterweight? Yeah,
are welterweight. Yeah.
yeah.
They are. Yeah.
So,
Damn, all right,
he's exciting. Buckley's a bit exciting. So let's see what happens with that.
you think he's done enough to go to challenge the top elite?
What for welterweight? You never know, but you got Kobe there, you got Leon Edwards, you got Usman, you got what's that guy's name? Dovkat. Yeah, that division's stacked. You got Bilal. That's divisions fucking stacked. So you don't know. But he's fun to watch. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
There was another female fight, Emily Ducote versus Lupe Godinez.
I think I
You
saw
see
a bit of that.
that was a good back and forth fight.
She is the one who jumped into Rogan's arms, right?
Yes, Emily. Yeah, that's her thing. She again. Spoiler alert. She loses.
Oh no, it's not. Sorry. It's not that girl. It's not
I think it is. They were talking about it. Or was that earlier? No. It was earlier. No.
Yeah, that's the girl who fought Carolina.
Yes. You're right. Yeah, no, it's different. But this one, it was a good back and forth fight. Lupi was just more. She would give 2-3 back, where when Emily gives one, Lupi was just more active on giving 2, 3, 4 back to just get more points up. And then before that, and then last that, the second co-main event was Edmund Shabazian versus Anthony Hernandez. And Shabazian and Edmund, there was a lot of hype behind him too. Remember, it was Wonder's boy or from the same gym. And
Edmund, man,
yeah,
move, no,
yeah. So, but he again, there was a lot of hype. And then he fought like Derek Bronson and some wrestlers, and he just got shut down for now.
He smothered him.
He lost this fight too. He lost this fight too. Yeah, he got overwhelmed. Anthony Hernandez just put a pace, like he just fought with heart and just put pace and overwhelmed him. Basically, just what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but he just basically imposed his will on him, put it that way, and just put the pace on him and out grappled him and ground and pound. He just put the pace on him, basically.
I don't recognize Anthony Hernandez,
Yeah, no, neither do I. And Edmund Shabazian, like I said, I recognize him obviously because there was a lot of hype, but then he got shut down. Not saying that he's done, but just a lot more to work on. Put it that way.
Derailed hype train cemetery.
Bro, I think Ronda Rousey had a lot to do with his hype. Not saying that she had that star power and she was saying that he's the next thing, but you gotta give it some chance. So that's it for the fights, man. Look, next week, on the 4th of June. So I think we've got next week off, actually. I think it's the week after. Which would you watch? Yeah, the head kick. Yeah.
Wait, did you not see the oh my god, now I'm gonna butcher this guy's name. Vyacheslav Borshev, the guy that does the Russian dance.
Oh yes, I saw that. Yeah.
His finish.
I did see his finish. What did he do again? It was
like the right hook, and then he just stood on top of him, and it just boom, and then that was it.
Oh yeah. I did see that finish, and then he done his Russian dance. Yeah,
because he came back from he had an eye poke, and his eye was bleeding and whatnot.
Came back from a bit of adversity. Yeah.
That was a good knockout, man. This card has been pretty good.
It's been fun. Even these are small cards and whatnot, like they're fun. Still fun. Like in 2 weeks we got Kai Kara-France versus Amir Abazi. So that's a good one to watch. You got Alex Casero on that one. You got Jim Miller. Freaking Jim Miller still doing it. Tim Elliott's on that card.
Okay. some good names, good vets,
Who
some
else
vets
you
in there.
got in here, man? Who else you got? You got Abu Bakr, one of Khabib's boys. He's on that card on the prelims.
Don't recognize the name.
Bloody hell, Andrei Arlovski on the prelims. Fucking hell,
Whoa,
that guy.
what? Who? No
Andrei
way.
Arlovski, yeah.
Yo, he's still out here trying to collect coin.
He's doing it, man. He's doing it, man.
Damn. He's
That's a
34 and 21 in terms of
yeah.
record.
That's a fun fight. That's a fun card, man. It's a fun card. That's in 2 weeks. June 4th. Cool, man. So that's for the fights. What did you think of? There was a lot of talk this week about Mr. Francis Ngannou was back in the news about his contract with PFL. What do you think? What was your thoughts? Do you think it's one of the best deals ever in MMA? Do you think it's gonna tarnish the PFL? Not tarnish, but do you think it's gonna make the PFL broke? Do they have the money? I mean, I don't know the ins and outs and whatnot, but do you think what do you think, man, after all the shit that's been going on and people thinking that he messed up, but he's got it sounds like he's got an amazing fucking deal with the PFL.
It does sound like that. I mean, I'm sure we can both agree that we hope that it works out for him and he's able to just to get what he deserves and all that good stuff. But none of that really matters because we're never gonna get the fight for now that we wanted, and it's strange because John Jones is there in heavyweight, the UFC champion, goat of goats, and so on. And now he's saying he's obviously the best heavyweight that there is, or whatever it is that he's claiming that he is. But at the same time, like Ngannou was there all the time waiting for him. John Jones decided to stay on laying the cut. He started laying the cut for 3 years, and Ngannou was there. So it's sad that's not going to happen, but I hope it works out for him. That's all I'm saying, man. I hope it works out for him.
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
very complex deal.
yeah, I mean the timing with John Jones, I think maybe it's just a timing thing. Jones wasn't ready. He was trying to make sure he was ready because you need to be ready for Francis. And I don't know. We're not gonna get that, Is he gonna be fighting the best fighters in the world at PFL? I don't know. I'm not gonna lie and say to you, I watch the PFL and fully follow it, but I don't know because you would want to think that the UFC has the best. I mean, John Jones is John Jones. When you say UFC has the best heavyweights in the world, you're saying John Jones basically, and he's one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, whatever organization. But the deal, I mean, my guy's looking to make what 2 million per fight. His opponents get that 2 million or something like. He's gonna be heading up UFC, PFL Africa or something like that. And PFL that grow like PFL, right? They've always had this tournament thing where you can win $1 million, which for a fighter is great. They hired Dan Hardy as their European executive or something. Apparently they look to buy Bellator. Dana was saying something about some Arab Middle Eastern investors are involved, so they're getting money from them. They look like they're growing, but can they sustain a business with like that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know nothing about that side of things, but man, I mean, they gave Francis the flexibility to do boxing and all that sort of stuff. Look, man, we know Francis because of the UFC. Now, if does he fade out of the news? I don't think so because I know him and he's always going to be on my feed and all that sort of stuff on social media. He's always going to show up if he was to fight. So I'll catch it as a fan, but I still think UFC is the best marketing, has the best. In my biased opinion, I think the UFC has the best fighters on the planet and also the best marketing on the planet. You can't do better than UFC, in my opinion.
I can agree with that.
So
I mean, let's hope, right? We don't get another Kimbo Slice XTC situation. Remember that Elite X, whatever it was. You remember the one he was in? They built the whole organization around Kimbo Slice coming into it, and then he lost, and then it kind of sunk the ship. Let's hope that they have enough generation to really do something good with Francis.
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard to beat Francis, but I mean, PFL signed Jake Paul. He's another big name, regardless of fight quality. He's a big name. They've hired got some big names. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's meant to be a special division, isn't it? It's like super division or something. Super. It's his own
Something,
division that they've made.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's different. I mean, what listen, if that slap thing, that monstrosity slap, whatever they call it, is working, power slap, this can work. Simple.
No doubt about it, man. But the thing is, what's behind Power Slap? The UFC and that marketing, and they're fucking the best in the business. So that's why I feel like Power Slap, one, look, you
Point.
can call Power Slap a gimmick thing. I don't think I'll get into that because I'm not into it. However,
Not
if
interested.
they saw that there's a potential in it, right? UFC got into it, Dana's promoted it, it makes hundreds of whatever clicks or whatever it does on social media. Like, they know what they're doing. They're the best at the best in marketing. So where was I going with this, man? I just think the UFC is just the best marketing tool in the world. You know what I mean? And they can make Power Slap good. I reckon they can make. I don't know if PFL could do the same because they don't have the same marketing machine as the UFC.
No,
Like I
no, I
know
agree. I agree.
I'm not, I know
Yeah.
like a few, Anthony Pettis. There's that girl, the judo
Mm.
champion. I can't remember her name.
Kayla
Uh,
Harris.
yes, yeah.
Kayla Harris. Kayla Harris.
But
Yeah.
in regards to superstar, I mean, again, this is me not investing my time in watching it and whatnot. But in regards to
Mm.
superstars, I don't know if they built really superstars there. And Francis Ngannou is already a superstar, but can they maintain his superstardom over there, or does he just fade in there? You know what I mean? And UFC just push their marketing machine and just overshines anything that he does. You know what I mean? Because when he made his announcement, Dana White came out and made an announcement with one of the sickest cards ever, with Poirier versus Gaethje too for the BMF belt, and you got
Mm.
it's one of the sickest cards. I can't go to pull it up, but you know what I mean? Like they done he done a Marvel. Like I always just say this, I'm like, when DC pull out a trailer, Marvel comes out with a Endgame trailer or some shit like, you know what I mean? They always outshine it and whatnot, and that's what the UFC would do. Like Ngannou comes out with some news, UFC would just pull out a sick card and say, well, we got this going on. It's gonna be tough, in my opinion. But remember, I'm a
Mhm.
biased UFC fan. MMA is a sport that I love to watch, but I would prioritize UFC and then I'll go through if I have time. ONE FC, Bellator, even a PFL fight. I once saw like Khabib's card one just because I had time. But if I don't have time, I'm just gonna prioritize UFC. That's it. You know what I mean?
Oh, Eagle FC. You watched that
I
one
watched that
time.
one or two card. I think it was the
One
one
time.
where Kevin Lee was fighting. I was like, yeah, I want to see
Knew you
what
were
Kevin
gonna
Lee's
say
doing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Kevin Lee against Diego Sanchez.
that's the one. Yeah.
Right.
Um, but
Okay.
I don't have the time to watch all of them. So I'm just gonna prioritize what I love best, which is the UFC. And this is
Mm,
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm definitely not a casual fan. I wouldn't say that. But
no.
could you think about a casual? They're not gonna watch all of those things. They're just gonna watch probably just the UFC. A hardcore who's an
Yeah.
analyst and all that sort of stuff probably gonna watch all of it because it's their job and they have to and whatnot. But you got to really have the time. Like today, like, we do this podcast on a Sunday. Like, you know what our days like. We're constantly communicating all day. Like, gee, I'm just with a client. I'm doing this. I'm like, yeah, I got to clean. I got to fill out these things. I got to do this.
Gotta make sure my grass is green.
My God, honestly, there's so much cleaning and shit that I got to do in housework, and I had to fill out some tax forms. Let's not get into that. But what I'm saying is, like, we don't have the time to watch all the fights in the world. Like, we don't have the time. There's so much going on. So, can they maintain the hype of Ngannou and even push it further? Not just maintain it, you gotta push it further with the possible opponent he's gonna fight. Is it gonna be like, oh, can this guy beat Ngannou? Whoa, there's so much to it. Or does he just fade into PFL and that's it? We never you never, you know what I mean? You just hear it you see on an Instagram post, he uppercuts some dude's head off and you're like, oh, that was awesome, but I never watched that. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, what happens with it?
you know, like none of it really matters, because PFL, we already know that number two is ONE FC, in regards to two of the biggest organizations. Bellator fell off their third place. I'm sorry, Bellator, but that's just where you are. And that's just what it's going to be. PFL is for me is fourth place, if that. So, none of it really matters if UFC is going to go and trump PFL's news with Ngannou and stuff. because in my opinion, my eyes, there isn't really any competition with it. Francis got out of that because of what this and this and this. He got what he wanted here. That's it. You know, that's it. But of course, the media and everybody else is gonna be. They already, when you said that, okay, Francis brought out his news, then Dana brought out his news, and I remember seeing an article saying, "Oh, Dana's trying to shit on Francis." Is he? Or was it just that he scheduled that news to come out at that time? I don't know,
Yeah,
but that's just the way it goes. It's the media cycle, isn't it? None of it really matters. Like, as long as people get what they want and we entertain and whatnot,
that's it.
but the media
Dana
will
said
go
it
on.
himself, like, not, I mean, not about this deal, but he was just saying, like, someone tried to ask him about the boxing. He was like, listen, if my competition is actually keeping people at home, my competition is like the new movie that's out and all that sort of stuff. If I could keep people at home, and if there's other fights that happen and I will keep people at home, that's better for all of us. So he's really, he doesn't even look at all the other fight things as real, as proper competition, because it's like, if there's a fight on there, and a true
Yeah,
fight fan will watch the Bellator card or whatever
yeah,
card and watch
yeah,
UFC too. So
yeah.
my competition is actually keeping people
People at home.
home to watch fights.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dana's smart. He's one of the best in the business. But yeah, no, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah, there's no competition. Everybody's in their own lane. Like, PFL do something very unique. UFC do what they do. ONE FC same. So you can look at it like that, but it's not fucking Monday Night Raw like it was back in the day. WWF versus WCW. It's not that.
no, exactly. It's not
People
that.
might want to believe that it's that, but it's not. Just enjoy the
Yeah.
show, eat some popcorn, do some push-ups. Fuck it.
So did you watch Ngannou's interview with Ariel Hawani? I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it. Did you watch any of that?
No,
He
I meant to get around to that.
So he basically
Did you watch it?
exposed, from his
Mm,
perspective, again, like, it's always two
mm,
sides of the story, but he basically
mm.
exposed Chatri and the BKF guy, BKFC guy,
Oh, yeah.
all that sort of stuff. He said, like, the Bellator lot, he goes, listen, they spoke and or something like that, and they respectfully said, look, we're not in, we can't offer you anything. So they respectfully whatnot. He said the
Pulled out.
BKFC guys made a claim that Francis Ngannou's asking for too much. He's like, I haven't even heard from them. I don't even know why they put my name out there, but I never even spoke to them or heard from them. And then he exposed Chatri, saying, like, he already told Chatri over the phone or whatnot, or over email, saying, like, look, I'm going with PFL. I've got a deal set up, but he still wanted to meet. But then Chatri, he was just saying Chatri was selling him all these numbers about, the most viewed sport. And he kind of said something about that. That kind of got me cringe. Listen, not with Chatri, right? He's done a great thing with ONE FC, but sometimes I do find him a little bit cringy, in my opinion, when he talks. But anyway, he said something to Ngannou. This is what Ngannou said, that he could be like the Nelson Mandela of MMA, and I was like, that's some fucking cringy shit. I don't know, that felt so cringy. But
Okay, Chattery.
he basically, Ngannou, from Ngannou's perspective, he was saying that this is why he tweeted that these promoters are two-faced. He goes, because Chatri and ONE FC came out like a day later and said, we're out of the Ngannou business because he wanted this, this, and this. And he goes, Ngannou was like, I already told him I'm going to PFL. He's the one who scheduled the meeting, so I respect him when I met him. And I told him that I'm really just going to go PFL. So the offer that he was trying to say that I was asking for, I didn't ask for none of that shit. None of that was asked from ONE FC. I already made my decision with the PFL. So he just basically exposed him for that. But again, I don't know what Chatri will say, but it was just like Ngannou. I personally want to believe Ngannou just because I think he's the fighter, and I don't feel like he's got any reason to lie about the offers and whatnot. But
Mm.
yeah, it was just interesting. It's just interesting. And like I said,
Well,
Chatri, like, when he speaks, I do find him a little bit cringy when he starts rattling off the numbers and says certain things. I'm like, all right, dude, like, you're doing a great job, ONE FC. Just keep that up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, if he did say that, well, no, it's not if he did put out that statement, which he put on Twitter about, he asked for a lot of money, whatever, and they pulled out. But they would say that kind of stuff to save face, right? Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be told this fighter said no to our deal. Like, then everybody else looks at us like, okay, well, why did he say no? They're gonna make it look as if, oh no, we wasn't interested in him, because it looks better,
yeah, of
right?
course.
He left versus we fired him. sounds better, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just about it's it's double speak and it's saving face. Simple.
Yeah. That's it, man. Cool, man. That was the whole Ngannou stuff. What, anything else? Anything else to bring up?
Talking about the fight, man. The boxing match.
Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. So I
Oh,
just saw all
you
the
do
tweets
nothing.
and whatnot that it was a
Oh,
robbery. Like Lomachenko, everyone said that he won, but it was a
oh,
robbery, and people were saying like, this is
oh,
boxing. They're trying to build up the new guy and all that. So this is what I saw. This is what I saw. So I didn't watch the fight, so I can't give an
not
opinion. But
even a
these are
highlight, no?
I didn't see anything on Instagram, to be
Uh,
honest with you. Yeah, and that's
just
where I normally see stuff. Again, timing.
yeah, it
Yeah.
will be on YouTube, so I'll have a look at that. What else? There was a couple of things announced that I should already had up, and I didn't. Okay, I'm probably not gonna have it in time. No, no. I ain't got nothing else, man. I guess the biggest news was Ngannou, outside of UFC. Yeah, I ain't got anything else, man. What you got? Nothing else?
No, that's it, man. That was all the news that I had, man. Or everything to talk about, man. That was those are the big things, really. So
Those are the big ones. There was a fight that got announced, and man, I can't find it. What do you think of that thingy then? The McGregor show. You said that
oh
you
yeah, I
had
watched
one more
McGregor.
to
Yeah, that
watch.
was good. It was good. Listen, if you
Yeah.
got time to watch something, Netflix, the
Leave it.
McGregor for Life show is there.
Yeah.
It's a four episode show. It starts off with him, his build up, and up to the episode one's like up to the Khabib fight. Then it finishes off up to when he breaks his ankle with Dustin Poirier and whatnot. It's good to see the background and all that stuff. And McGregor, I said this before, love him or hate him, he's always fun to watch. I enjoyed it. You see the background stuff.
Mm,
There's like, before the fight, with Khabib, he did hurt his foot a couple of weeks before. Do
okay.
you say that as an excuse? I'm not being, in my opinion. I'm a McGregor fan. I've said this before. I went all the way to Ireland to watch him fight and everything. So I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
still
you
see
did.
Khabib smashing him 10 out of 10 times. Khabib fought Justin Gaethje with a broken foot as well, and he went out there, did what he had to do. Um, you know, with Poirier, all that sort of stuff. So it's good. It's worth watching. It's worth watching if you're a McGregor fan and if you have time. If you're not, even if you're not a McGregor fan, it's just worth. He's entertaining, and if you want to see a bit of his lifestyle and whatnot, he's famous. He's one of the most famous sports stars in the world. That's why they're gonna make a show about him. So if you want to see more of his life, a little bit behind the background scenes and that stuff, check it out. It's worth it.
I think what you just said there is for the audience, the listeners. For me, like his behavior and his attitude, it just I'm not interested.
And this is
I
why,
watched him fight against Chandler, but
yeah.
stuff outside of it, I'm not
Oh, me
gonna.
too.
I'm not
Yeah. I
gonna
mean, this is one of the reasons why people tune in to watch him lose, Again, I mean, he's, don't get me wrong, his attitude outside hitting old men and whatever he's done is nowhere good. He's lost a lot of people, lots of fans and whatnot. But in my opinion, when he was in the UFC, it was fucking exciting. That whole road of when he was in the UFC from the beginning to, up, you can even say up to the Khabib fight, it was fucking exciting. It was exciting. Eddie Alvarez, the Aldo fight, the Chad
Yeah,
Mendes, Diaz ones,
Mayweather,
and
all
the
of that.
Mayweather. It was a fun
Yeah,
fucking road. It was a fun
I
fucking
know.
ride.
Definitely. But after that, even that whole thing of just yeah, like nah, man. Just,
I
like,
get it.
and I'm not even. I didn't even. I don't even want to watch hit the fight of Chandler to see him lose. That's just part of our schedule because we're gonna watch that fight anyway.
Of course, yeah.
You know? I just don't have no. I have no emotions towards him whatsoever. I'm just like, you
I
know,
get it. No, I listen, man.
no
I get it. I get.
emotions
Thing is, as
whatsoever.
well, when he was out and he's been out for so long, I can carry. I'm a fight fan, so I can carry on. I'm so super excited about the UFC and all the fights. So he doesn't. For me, I don't need him to be in the UFC and fight to thing. He would be a forgotten guy after, in my opinion. Like Khabib, I'm a huge fan of, so he will never be forgotten for me. I'm such a fan of him. obviously I follow on Instagram and all that sort of stuff, but I follow all his guys who are fighting and they're exciting. You know, he really
Yeah,
that has a
yeah,
crew that's keeping, you know, Islam and Umar and all of them
yeah.
guys. So I'm excited. McGregor don't have that. They didn't have that. He said that the Irish are coming or who his team's coming to take over. That's not true. It didn't happen.
No, they
So
only
they will
have
be when I
him.
say he'll be forgotten about, what I'm saying he'll be forgotten about. But when there's history on like the UFC and MMA sport elevating to another level, he's a part of that, no doubt about it. He did take MMA to another level, and the UFC and the Mayweather fight. Yeah, of course he did. But what I'm saying is, tomorrow or this card that happened, like, you know, UFC carries on, MMA carries on. I don't need him to be in it for me to be a big fan of the UFC or MMA. So,
Big
but
time. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that was the one. Yeah, no, I same for me. Same for me. Like
And
he
I will
definitely
watch the
took money.
contender series, or not contender, the Ultimate Fight. I will watch that because I find him entertaining. I'm a fan, and I am entertained by him to watch that at least. I tell you that's something for true. Like I will, like I say, he can disappear, but when he does something, I'm entertained. I'm gonna watch fighting wise. I'm gonna be in, so I'll watch
I
that.
hope. Yeah, I'm not. It sounds like you're fully invested in him anyway. But I hope that he he still has that same energy that he used to have. You know, slick delivery and can cuss anybody out on a dime. You know, if he still has that personality, then I'll have a look see for sure. But if he's just the guy that was up against Habib and swearing at people and profanity, that's not interesting. That sounds like a drunken guy at the pub that his wife left him. you know, because that wasn't even funny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wasn't even funny when he was out here cussing. Who the fuck is that guy? And he had all of that witty dialogue and what that was really really entertaining. I agree with you on that. That was amazing. That was pure art at its finest. When you're talking about going to Aldo and riding on horseback through the favelas, you know, or it's like, oh, 7 guys died making this watch. Hey, that shit's cool, man. That's gold.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so if it's this guy, all right.
What he said to Poirier in the third fight, when he was talking about that was rubbish. Like when he was like, "I'll kill you," and your wife was in my DM. That was all terrible.
This stuff,
That wasn't good at all. Yeah, no,
that
I'll
stuff
kill
is
you.
no,
You're a dead man. All that shit. That was
no,
rubbish. That was
no,
totally
no,
rubbish. Yeah,
no, 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 no.
yeah,
This kind of behavior here, I'm not interested in that. If it's that guy from then who actually was like, he made Chael P. Sonnen look average with his delivery.
yeah,
If
no,
it's
for
this
sure.
guy, cool, I'll tune in. But if it's this one that's out here just cussing people on the corner, just some drunk dosser, not interested.
I get it. I get it.
Not interested.
Cool,
Oh,
man.
that's it. Tyrant side, last thing. Tyson Fury and John Jones had a back and forth. You hear about that? That's
Yeah,
what I was trying to
Joe
remember.
Rogan stirred that one up. But he was giving his honest opinion, and I agree. I agree with him. I agree with
What did
him.
he say?
But Joe Rogan was on a podcast saying that Tyson Fury is the baddest boxer on the planet, no doubt about it. However, but the baddest man on the planet is John Jones. If you put John Jones and Tyson Fury in a room, MMA, street fight, sorry, John Jones is killing it. And that's facts. I'm sorry, boxers, I love it. Tyson Fury is one of the greatest boxers of all time. Muhammad Ali, in my opinion, is one of the greatest sports athlete boxers of all time. Never will take anything away. However, comes to a true fight,
Yeah.
I've said this to friends, and this is, and I'm not saying it in a cocky way, but I'm just saying it in a realistic way. There's a good chance that if me and Mayweather, one of the best boxers fight in the world ever, fight in a street fight, I have a good chance against him. Not against a heavyweight like Deontay Wilder, or if their weight will kill me, but someone like Mayweather, I have a pretty good chance. I will shoot for a very low single, try my best to take it to the floor, make it very scrappy, and then I have a good chance to kill Mayweather.
I hear that.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
No,
so John Jones
yeah,
and Tyson Fury, I agree with Joe.
I get it. I get it. No, Joe Rogan's not wrong. I get it. I didn't know that it was about that. I thought they were actually saying, because my friend who doesn't know anything about fighting, or MMA, was like, "Oh, do you know a guy called John Jones? He called it Tyson Fury." And I was like, "Yeah, I know John Jones, and I know Tyson. What are you saying?" And I was like, "Oh." Oh, that's not even a thing. Like, I actually thought it was actually
No,
possibly
it's
gonna
not gonna
happen.
happen. But Tyson Fury wasn't happy
Yeah.
about what Joe said, and then obviously, listen, John Jones. No matter what, he's the greatest of all time, but he's a narcissist, and his insecurity levels are beyond anything. Because even with, he always like like even with Khabib, when Khabib when his father died and he won his last fight, John Jones had to come out and say, "Well, I'm still the best" and whatnot. It's like, let the guy have his moment and come back later. You know what I mean? So John Jones obviously
Mm.
has to speak, but it's truth though. Listen, John Jones will kill any heavyweight on the planet. Francis Ngannou is only one that could probably chat. Don't get me wrong. Is there any other bigger dudes? I don't know. Like, he's probably the best heavyweight. He's probably the baddest man on the planet, no doubt about it, bro. Honestly.
I mean, yeah, like the argument is in MMA, okay, or street fight, okay, but boxing realm, different story. Like,
No doubt,
and
yeah,
that's the
no
whole, yeah,
doubt about it. No
and
one
that's
would ever,
fine.
yeah,
That's not
yeah.
even an argument. That's just that's just someone's feelings got kind of pushed in.
That's it. That's
That's
it. That's
all it
it.
is, because it is the same thing. That's why Mayweather did not accept Conor McGregor's invitation to come to MMA afterwards,
It'll
because
never happen. It'll never happen.
right,
Yeah,
you can't, yeah. So that's just what it is, man.
yeah.
Okay,
That's it.
I thought it was actually a thing.
No, not a thing. Not a thing. All right.
Mm.
Well, look, on that note, boys, hitting 11 o'clock here.
Oh,
And I gotta
okay.
obviously upload this video and everything. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna call it there, man. It's getting a bit late, but as usual, thank you, bro. It's good to always catch up with you and catch up
likewise,
about
likewise.
fights and just catch up about life and stuff. But all
Mm.
the users and subscribers and listeners, again, thank you for your support. Please do like and subscribe and all the other good stuff. And there's no fights next
Oh,
week, but we might catch up anyway. But if not, we'll catch up on the next show anyway. There's always fights happening, so we'll
there
we'll
is,
uh, we'll do what we got to do. And on that
for
note,
sure.
peace.
Yes,
Let me grab
no
a
doubt.
pic, bro. Let me stop this.